anyway, I had to go to county lockup 30 days, and I got out, and my friends, like any good military friend should do, said, "You want to like pay rent or get food? No, let's throw a party and invite whores and have a gangbang."
Hey, welcome back to Fourth of the Road, everybody. I'm Rose Punk Rock. We got Silent, we got Andar, and we got Road Dirt finally with us today. How y'all doing today?
Good.
Great. You're doing good, great. And we might air it, we might not, but the second time we tried recording here, it was some shit was going down. Some dogs were about to die. I think there was some domestic violence getting ready to happen on Silent. It was great. It was great. We might air that. We might not. We'll make up our minds later. But hey, let's focus on the main part of this. We are Punk Rock finally got off his fat lazy ass, and we have Road Dirt with us as his inaugural episode from being on the staff for like what? Like you've been on staff for like 6 years now, and we're finally getting you on the show.
Yeah, man, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, stuff that you're comfortable with the whole world knowing?
All right, well, everybody knows I'm Road Dirt, so I got introduced to all these guys on the old page, I think, when I started a lot of them. Some of the guys that are here, some aren't anymore, but it's been like around 2013, I want to say, is when I started checking out the old page and following it. And that's when I wanted to wait until I wrapped up my military time to start monkeying around in the clubs. And most recently, I found my way here. I was sharing with Punk Rock. I was overseas on one of my jobs, and I was listening to the podcasts. I just kind of drifted across when the Great Migration took place, and I just followed the group over. And at about the same time I was doing that, I was starting to look for a new home club wise. That's a whole nother story I'll talk about another time. But I felt I'd outgrown my old club, and I was looking for a new home. And which there's two members on here from my current nation. They aren't here now, but they write for the page. But it's no big secret. But anyway, that's about me. I just found my way here and started writing for this page. But 20 years military, like seems like everybody else in the motorcycle club community, and been at it since 2013, and I really love it. And it's really a pretty big deal to be here for me. I don't know how other people look at it. Looking in, being a new guy, it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of knowledge here and a lot of experience, so it's a tough act to keep up with. But I'm really glad to be here, and thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, to have you here, man. I think you're making amazing contributions to the page, and you're putting the rest of us out of work with your not only the amount of articles that you're pumping out, but the quality of them as well. I gotta say, we were all kind of, I don't know. I mean, I know me and Chop. I can speak for me and Chop. We were like, oh shit, we got this like Harvard-educated English professor writing for us now, man. Like.
No, I'm just retarded. I just use spell check and Grammarly a lot.
So, Dave, what's been going on with you, man?
Hey, I want to circle back to something that he said. Road Dirt said that he actually heard the podcast while overseas still?
Yeah, I was over for that trip, I was actually over in Qatar. So I was streaming it and checking out the podcast while I was sitting some say Qatar, some say Qatar, tomato, but that's where I was. Yeah.
I feel we're always like, apparently we're being listened to overseas, but we never know by who. And now we have it. Now we know.
Yeah.
Every time Ken runs it, we'll get some like weird country. And I was like, if you're in this country, let us know. Now we know.
Yeah, I think there was only like 3 people that listened to us in Qatar or Qatar.
I'm a little disappointed that they're all like service members, but you know what? We take it where we can. We take it where we can get it.
Hey, I'm looking at it this way. We still got 70,000 listeners across the fucking world. They might only be from America and Canadian land, but they're all over the world.
But I think, like you said, talking about the other page and stuff like that, I know that we all here, like when we decided to start Four for the Road or whatever, we were all thinking of ways to poach him and steal him and stuff like that, because this stuff was the best here or there. So I think it's cool to have him. And I think it's just another great personality, if that's the right word, to have on the page and on the show.
Yeah, 100%, man. And I don't know he's sitting over there just like, guys, like, stop saying all this nice shit about me. Like, what?
All right, we're done. That's it.
Stop.
That's it. Yeah, but between him and Silence, I can't understand a fucking thing these people say.
Yeah, there's a lot of dangle going on here. To tell you quick.
That's fucked up.
I'm just waiting for the green flag to drop so we can go racing. Let's go, boys.
Just don't make
But,
don't make the right turn.
What
You'll be all right.
you know, what you talked about kind of being in this larger club now with some of the other guys that are on staff. Most people know what it is. But what kind of drew you to a different lifestyle, a larger club, stuff like that? Because you said you kind of started off in a smaller club or in a different scope. What brought you to where you are now?
Well, I mean, I was always attracted to the outlaw clubs. I couldn't find my niche at the time. You know, it wasn't even the military scrutiny. It wasn't even a scrutiny getting the military at the time. I just personally, I'm married to a black woman and I have mixed kids. So, you know, it's like just always looking for that balance. You know, it's uncomfortable for people to talk about the racial aspect, but just always look, I'm like, where would I go that my family would be comfortable if they walked in a room, that they would feel, you know, that it would just be a good groove, a good blend for everybody. And I just personally never really felt, I had lots of friends in outlaw clubs and I interacted with all the outlaw clubs, but I just never seemed to find the place that I thought that it would just be a good fit for everybody in my family and my circles. But that being said, I just always was looking at the outlaw side of things, but I ended up also being 20 years. There was a club back then, a veterans club back then seemed like a good idea. So that's what I did the first time around. And then as I was there, like I said, I always kind of still had that old school mindset. I'll say old school mindset, even though I'm a new guy. I listen to the older guys talk and how way things should be and the outlaw mindset. And when I say outlaw, you know, for the people that don't understand, I'm talking about basically just holding people accountable, following traditions and protocol, because that's not as common of a thing as you would think it would be out here in the motorcycle club community. And I'd always looked for that, and I wanted somewhere that was like that. And I always, being the hard-headed guy and the guy that held people accountable, I'm kind of always the dick in the room because I always want to hold people accountable. I'm always that guy. They're like, man, you're a fucking dick, brother. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be a good time. And I'm the guy that like, well, getting on your bike and riding 1,000 miles and spending all your money at your brother's event is not an ideal of a good time. Maybe you're in the wrong fucking place. You know, that's just so. And so I just, that and a lot of other things, I kind of outgrew my old club, and it's a great place, and it's my birthplace into the motorcycle club community, and I still have a lot of good brothers over there, but I felt I outgrew them, and they outgrew me too, because they grew and became something. They're great, they have a great time, but we just grew apart. And that's how I found Chosen Few, actually, because I was always looking at the mixed race outlaw scene, but I just was never sure, you know, I was never sure. And then I was looking, and like we all do, a lot of us do, read books, crack a book, go online and look things up. But then I was listening to podcasts. I'd always look at things that that Professor would write, and I would look at things that No Shame would write, but then they also had some pretty detailed, shared their experiences on the podcast, you know, pretty detailed about why they're in their nation and how they feel about it. And I don't know, it clicked. So
wait. Are we allowed, all of us, all 11 people, to take partial credit for your choice and what club you decided to prospect for and become a member of? I feel like we get a little credit.
I'm thinking no.
I ain't taking credit for it because
it sounds like we get a little credit.
Because I would have made him a warlock.
But you know, I mean, all joking aside, I think we all understand, at least, if you think back. I mean, when I was a prospect and I was told to old Page, hey, read this every day. And I did, you know, and I'm sure, and I get that now, you know, that was a couple of the biggest compliments of the last get together. I went to a big event with my club, and besides there was an OG took time to talk to me and educate me about a few things. And that was like the highlight of my whole trip. because he just took time to talk to me and tell me about, you know, the way he sees things. And, you know, that's a huge deal. Like, you know, when an old dude takes time to talk to you, that's a big deal, you know, to impart some knowledge on you. But I had a couple patches and a couple of prospects come up, and when I introduced myself, they said, Road Dirt, oh, you write for the page? I was like, yeah. And they said, man, I love your stuff. I read it all the time. Or another guy was like, hey, I make my prospects read. I make my chapter read it. And that's how I got introduced to the protocol pages, you know. So I think that's a pretty big deal. I totally lost my train of thought right there where I was going with the question, but I was trying to allude to the fact that I don't even remember what the hell you asked now. See, I talk so much. I talk myself.
You know,
I think you were saying you were going to be a warlock until Blade and No Shame talked you out of it. I think that's where you were going to.
It was about the credit, giving credit, but I mean, I think we slight ourselves if we don't say we like to be humble, and there's not a bunch of arrogant bastards running around here, but except for punk rock. But I mean, the pages do for people who are involved, and these pages do help. I mean, it has me, and even being a writer on the page now, I still get from you guys every day knowledge and help and direction. So yeah, I think that it's safe to say, I think the stuff I learned on these pages, I started seeing things that I didn't agree with in the community, and it led me to my next step. So yeah, I wish I'd have started reading it, you know, 5 years before I got involved in the motorcycle club scene. But anyway,
one thing I noticed that like Road Dirt said, and I know Silent said on before, and Ken, and I think a lot of I know Drifter, I don't know about Professor or No Shame or Chris, but there's a common thread of starting in or around kind of a veterans club and then progressing into something more, I don't know if elite's the right word, but a different arena. And I think that speaks to, because I know, you know, we talk about it in different podcasts, or we write about it, kind of veterans and as vets, our responsibility or how we conduct ourselves in the motorcycle world. And I think, you know, showing that guys like Silent, Drifter, Road Dirt, Ken came from clubs that were very specific for military and then kind of grew into these great patch holders or people that they are now. I think that really shows the good side of it, because it's easy to be critical of that shit. It's easy to trust me as a vet, it's easy to be critical, right? I don't know if any other community eats its own like the vet community will. But if you want to give praise to it, I think look at the examples of, and we know more, but look at the examples of men that have started there, I guess, progressed to something different than being in a veteran specific club, and kind of the good that's come out of that. And I think that's kind of speaks to that.
Yeah, I would like to go back and say too, I mean, a statement too, I want to be careful in that, you know, there's a lot of guys out there in vets clubs doing a lot of good things, and I don't want it to sound like, oh, I left because I wanted to, like you said, I just stepped up, or I did this, or I did that. I just feel we outgrew one another. I mean, that for the veterans community, we all know every club and every part of the motorcycle club community is not made for everybody, but there is a lot of good brotherhood. And there's a lot of good things coming from these clubs that are scooping dudes up out of the military and that are looking for something, that are lost. They may not have even any desire whatsoever to be in an outlaw club, or they may not have any desire to do whatever. But if they find a niche, as long as those guys aren't out here fucking it up, let's just be honest. If they're not here fucking up the scene and fucking up the set, which a lot of clubs do, that's a good thing, really. It just means they aren't meant, that vet is not meant to be in club A or B, but he found a home in that veterans club, and that's a beautiful thing. And then, you know, I just wanted to steer that, because it didn't sound like you were a slight, but it was almost borderline a slight to veterans clubs. And there's a lot of guys out there doing a lot of great and wonderful things, just like there's a lot of guys out there fucking shit up. But, you know, I just wanted to say that.
Unless you ask punk rock, then fuck all y'all. No, and that's a joke. I'm just kidding for the most part. But no, I mean, I learned a lot. You know, it wasn't a military club. It was military heavy membership that were affiliated.
Get the fuck out of here! You had like a Navy anchor for your pet. Just shut the.
It wasn't. There was nothing that and I can talk about it now. The club doesn't exist anymore.
Bro, your fight song was Anchors Away, okay? Your fight song was Anchors Away.
It wasn't. Shut the fuck up. But no, being in that kind of club and being around who we were around, you know, like I was around Blade for a long time. He spent a lot of time mentoring me and stuff. I think being in a military club, and I could be totally off with this, but I think a lot of outlaw clubs will look at these guys and say, okay, this has the makings to be a really good contribution to the community, or it has the potential to be extremely detrimental to the community, and they spend a lot of time mentoring them. I know that was my experience, and it taught me. I think I learned more from after I patched in than I did as a prospect. You know, from these dominant clubs in my area that took time to mentor us because they knew that we were a predominantly military club, and this could go one way or the other. And you know, luckily it went one way and not the other. And you know, they moved on to bigger and better things, and I'm just some fat fuck riding by myself in Jacksonville.
Well, it's like Road Dirt said, you know, there's guys that are doing whole careers, motorcycle careers. Their patch life is in a veterans club, and that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the point I was trying to make is, like, you know, looking at the different members that we have on staff that kind of came through veterans clubs and then decided to move into a different lane. Because again, they're, you know, it's not an insult at all, but I think, you know, they're two very different types of lanes. Fair enough?
So I have a question for you guys. Do you think that similar to like aquatic life, you're going to grow to your tank, and that sometimes you'll outgrow your tank, but most of the times you're gonna grow to your tank and then stop?
I got snow outside, bro. I don't. What do you want from me? That's silent. That's road. They live in Florida.
I think it's all about personality. Are you referring to an individual level, or are you talking about a club level?
Individual.
Yeah, I think it's about the personality of the individual himself. You know, I spent a lot of time in Minnesota this past weekend or 2 weeks ago. I spent a lot of time with the Killerman's sons up there, and you know, I think the guys that I was speaking with, you know, in the chapter up there, they're top-notch dudes, you know. I think they could very easily come into the 1% world, but I don't think that's where they want to be. I think they're comfortable where they are. What they're doing for like the 22 project, you know, which they have here in Florida as well. The things that they're doing matter to them more than putting a diamond on, you know. So the tank, you know, I don't know if that's the correct analogy to use in that, because when you're talking about an individual, some people get their feet wet in a veterans club and they join a veterans club because that's what they're comfortable with. That's what they know. You know, obviously Road Dirt did it. I did it. You know, that veterans club was my first club because that's where my comfort zone was. But once you educate yourself in this world to where, like, okay, I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing, but I'm not happy, then that's normally when you step up to the Diamond Club, you know. But as long as you're happy, those guys will never step up to the 1% club, you know, or to a 1% club, because that's where their heart is, you know, is doing whatever that mission is of that club. I don't know if that helps answer your analogy of the fish tank, but wherever the fuck that analogy came from.
It sounded like a whole lot of algae to me. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Hey, but why I got the floor, I want to throw something out there right quick. So I had a brother of mine go down this week named Bostos out of Ohio. He's got a concussion. His bike's fucked up. Physically, he's fine. So I just want to send some love out because I know he listens to the show. So love you, brother, and I hope you get better soon. So, all right. I yield the floor. Who's next?
I gotta say, I think that's the first like positive comment you've ever done where it wasn't like, I just want to say to that Miklo guy over there.
Oh yeah, let me tell you why I got. Let me have the floor back. Let me tell you about this. So, that same brother that hit his head, that was kind of karma for doing what he did. So, I was in South Carolina like fucking a month ago, right? And Bostos and another very good brother of mine named Pyro, who's also out of Ohio. This is some Ohio shit, I guess, right? So
Fucking Ohio.
yeah, they're like, "Hey, brother, can we talk to you for a minute? You know, we kind of got you something, you know, out of love and respect, you know, for doing what you do." And da da da. I'm like, "Yeah." So they give me this fucking flannel, right? So I'm like, "Hey, I really appreciate it," you know. And both of them are avid listeners of the podcast. So they're like, "Well, I want you to look at it." I'm like, "Yeah, I see it," you know. And at first, I'm like, "Dude, I got like 5 other red and black flannels already, you know, Dixon flannels." So they're like, "No, look at the collar." So I looked at the fucking collar, and it's the goddamn Miklo fucking version. I'm like, "You got me the fucking dog club goddamn flannel? That's fucked up, man." You know? And they're just dying fucking laughing. So I mean, they work hard to provide for their families, or I think I would have threw it right in the fucking fire pit and burned a bit, you know. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to disrespect them like that. Yeah.
Can you technically hang that upside down behind the bar then? Like, does that qualify?
Yeah, it qualifies, I guess. I guess so. But yeah, I'm like, you little smart ass fuckers. I love to death, love to death. But I was like,
you mean
son
the
of
guy
a
that's
bitch.
like the guy that's like basically your family? He didn't show up to the party.
He ain't my fucking family.
Dude,
That ain't my
really
fault.
just-
I
really
think he
wish the
got
audience
lost
could,
trying
like,
to.
see
I think,
how fast your face changed.
yeah, I think he got lost trying to get out of his garage.
Jesus.
Yeah, there wasn't a fucking map or something. Somebody showing him how to get out of his garage.
This turned out to
So
be a great episode.
I'm just gonna go with that.
Silence sound bites are always the best part of any podcast you record with him, because he gives you like the best like one-liners that you can use to like promote it.
Hey, I speak the truth. Speak the truth.
So one thing that we were talking about, I guess, like earlier, we were texting back and forth trying to think of topics and stuff like that. And one that came up that we could like, I don't vaguely cover was verification. I know that's kind of been a topic of background checks and a thing of discussion lately. What, as somebody that's kind of like in charge, I mean, I don't mean to put air quotes around it. Everybody knows kind of what Silent does, but you know, what is the value you see in verification, validations, background checks, and kind of how is it? How do you view it? I guess.
So everybody knows that the feds have unlimited money, you know, be it the gang task force, be it the, you know, whatever. I think the vetting process can't simply be, well, I met that guy a year ago. He's a cool guy, you know, or hey, he was in another club. He's good to go. You know, there's multi stages to the vetting process, and this is me speaking. I don't necessarily speak for my club, and I don't speak for other clubs on how they do their job. You know, but it has to be a combination. There has to be, I've spoke on the hang around process and how important it is. It's a very important process as far as learning, but it's also a very important part of you learning that guy. You know, the background check itself is extremely important. You know, they remember law enforcement can alter a background. Okay, if you don't know that, then you need to know that. You know, you can if they want to, they can change who somebody is and what somebody has done or not done or whatever. You know, so you need to combine the whole thing as far as hanging around, the background check, the home checks. You know, you should be able to knock on that dude's door and walk into his house and go through whatever drawers you need to go through, pictures on the walls, whatever, to ensure that everything that guy's been telling you is matching up.
So you're kind of advocating for, I think most of us would say, yeah, go over to that guy's house and have a cookout or whatever. But take it one step further. Like if that's really somebody that you're going to call a brother, he shouldn't have a problem with you opening a drawer. Is that kind of where we're at?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Go to his job. Make sure, he says that he works at Discount Tire, Advanced Auto or whatever. Roll up in that motherfucker and get a damn tire pressure gauge. Make sure that's where he's truly at, and don't just do it once. Do it multiple times, and don't tell him that you're coming. You want to do those checks. Not that you can't get infiltrated, because you still can, but don't make it easy. Don't let them just walk in on your ass, and you give them a set of patches and you don't even know who the fuck you just patched in. There's clubs doing that, so, guys fucking selling their goddamn patch and don't even fucking pay attention to who the fuck they're selling it to. Goddamn local PD fucking is now a member of your club, and you gave it to them. They didn't earn shit. Tell them to go join the Blue Knights.
And you're saying, do you have to prospect for the Blue Knights? I don't know. Do you have to prospect for that, or is that like one of those like fraternal order things?
No, I think you just got to graduate the police academy.
Okay. Do you have to own a bike?
I don't know about that either.
But he literally just said you just have to graduate the police academy.
and what you're saying, I mean, if it wasn't obvious, what you're saying is like, as part of that hang around and prospect phase, like you're not, it's not that you're walking into your brother's house and opening up his drawers, but in order to earn that title from you, this is some of the steps that you're taking. It's not like saying, hey, you got to go and investigate every one of your brothers and follow them to work. Like before you bestow that title on somebody, these are some of the precautions or proactive shit that you advocate for, that you personally find effective.
Correct. Yeah, as far as them cop clubs go, man, really, I don't know what it takes to be in those clubs. It's they have their own little circle. You know what I mean? Their circle ain't my fucking circle, or like, the little color wheel where they fucking cross and shit like that. They do their own fucking thing. So I don't know what it takes to join one of them, other than you got to fucking be a cop. So I
know Punk Rock was dying to say Venn diagram, wasn't you?
I was.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, though, right? The little color wheel.
You got those little circle there and cross over there in the middle, make another little color right there, and it's just like you got one over here, you got one over there, and you got the stuff that kind of go both ways in the middle there, and then kind of
Yeah. So you understood what I said, damn it.
Yeah, man, I speak dango.
You motherfucker.
Oh man. Next month's gonna suck, man. I'm gonna go down and see Silent like right after my surgery. He's gonna keep patting me on my shoulder.
I'm hoping Pat. My next thing was I was hoping that we could do a podcast while Silent's going through your drawers. I don't know. Can we work that out somehow?
I'm gonna need like 2 or 3 paydays first, because I want to like hide some heinous shit in my drawers and be like, "Come on in, Pop, have at it."
Yeah.
Don't mind that 13-inch around dildo. It's fine.
What about
See, a Navy guy would say that shit, right?
Why you gotta say that gay shit?
That's why you wear your name on your ass, so I didn't know who you were fucking.
You know what? I was trying to keep this on track. We're gonna segue.
Oh shit! Okay.
Like,
right,
hey, this is his first podcast. Let's get his input on this, and y'all gotta just fuck it all up. You know what? Fine.
Hey, that was Punk Rock did that shit. You can always blame Road Dirt. You can always blame everything on Punk Rock. Always.
He ain't new. He fucking knows.
All right, go ahead, Dave.
I'm tired of steering this. No, but like I said, for Road Dirt, like, what is your kind of input on the vetting? We'll call it the vetting process. Background checks, verifications, all that.
Yeah, sure. So I'll ramp it back one step from Silent. From looking for law enforcement. let's look at it from let's take it down one notch. And let's just say the quality of brother you're pulling in now. And people don't even I've noticed, I watch and I talk to a lot of different clubs over as we all do. And I'm surprised at how many people don't even go to his former club and call that president and say, hey, what kind of guy am I getting? Why did he leave your club? What is going on? And even if he's not out in bad, they're like, man, he left. He was a freaking dick and nobody liked him and none of us could get along with him. We basically railroaded him out. We didn't put him out bad, but we just chased him away because he was an asshole, and I'm amazed at how many chapters don't call a dude's former club and just chat up the president or the sergeant at arms, however they go about doing it. And the background check, another thing that a lot of people don't take time to think about, when you do a background check and you want to see what their charges are, and someone says, well, who cares what their charges are? Well, if a dude's charged with rape, I don't want him around. I personally don't want him around my fucking teenage daughter. And if a dude's charged with fucking child molesting, I damn sure don't want him around my kids. So we talk about doing those background checks just to see what kind of a man you're getting. And I've seen it happen over the years where somebody will be in a club 2 and 3 years and then something pops up and everybody finds out he's got some kind of heinous charge and you have to get rid of him because no one checked in the first place. So now you've had some creeper hanging around your damn kids and you didn't even know it. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Well, and to piggyback off of that is you do see that. You see, hypothetically, you see guys that have 3 suspended licenses, 4 suspended licenses. They've gotten caught, driving. So now this guy may or may not, or let's say may not, have a license, and he's in your pack, and it's a local guy. So those same cops know that this guy ain't got no fucking driver's license. So guess what he's about to do to your pack? He's going to put you on the side of the road. You're just creating attention. So yeah, you need to know, what their criminal history is, just for the sake of, again, like you're saying, know what kind of morals and ethics this guy brings to the table.
All right, so I have 2 spinoffs from that, and we'll start with one, and whoever wants to field it. Something we see a lot of on the page, or I guess not a lot, but we see enough of guys that have a gripe that they're no longer in a club, or when they left their club, they got shafted, they got a bad deal, whatever. Is that something that you're considering when you're getting that feedback from another club? Do you think it's as rampant as maybe some people on the page would want you to believe it is, with guys just, former clubs looking to burn you when you leave? Or is it really like, one guy's crying really loud about this happening to him, but it's not as frequent as you might think it is?
I've come across it a few times, and there's quite a few times, but there's only been maybe one time that I think it was actually personal, that the guy got kicked out in bad. All the rest were pretty legit, but you still hear it. I got railroaded. He fucked me over because he didn't like me or whatever. You hear that shit all the time.
What's your bullshit detector for that?
Usually if you're getting somebody that's out and bad from another club, generally you already have a relationship with that club, because they're pretty much in your area, so, or at least in your state that you've established a relationship with, maybe not your area. So, I have a good relationship with all the clubs, and I tend to go with what that guy is telling me, because we have some sort of understanding and respect for each other, that I would think he's not bullshitting me, So, but I'm not going to put my neck out there for a guy just to get a fucking number, just to get one more guy in the book. So, clubs they're not realizing that either. If you're fucking up your respect as a nation for one guy, fuck that. I don't need you. My club's reputation is more important than anybody coming through that door, including me.
What about you, Road Dirt?
Bullshit detector. You know, I was talking to somebody about this the other day. You know, I'll go the approach of multiple tools. You know, your gut instinct first. When I talk to a guy, your spidey sense goes off. You can pretty much always trust that. You know, I go with my gut instinct, and I'll try to have like a couple brothers with me, and then if you get 2 or 3 brothers spidey sense going off at the same time, I'll take that, and then I'll make a phone call, and I'll talk to 2 or 3 brothers from somewhere else, or 2 or 3 men from somewhere else, and I try to correlate everything together and base it off of that. But you know, it's almost, and then of course, take something up and throw it in front of the table with your chapter, and then you vote on it. And you can never be wrong, right? If you get out there and y'all throw all the facts out on the table, make a decision. But yeah, I like to go with my gut instinct, and then I look left and right to the brother with me and get their gut instinct. And if all 3 of y'all's hair standing up on your neck, it's a pretty good indicator right there. I think the decision is just about made on a guy.
What about you, Ken? I saw your hand go up.
I think it's personal. These guys were mean to me, getting kicked out kind of excuse. I think that's, I don't think it happens. I think it's like 3 out of every 4. Jesus fucking Christ, English. Like 3 out of every 4, 75%. It's going to be bullshit. Because a lot of these guys are wanting to go from, club to club to club, and like Silent said, most of the time you probably know that guy, or you probably know that club that he was in. You have a good rapport with them, more than likely, if they're in your area, and it's pretty easy to sift out bullshit, especially if you got somebody that you've known for, 5 to 10 years, telling you, no, that guy was kind of a dick, so we kind of chased him out of here. He didn't have a lot of major violations. It's just he created a lot of drama, so we chased him out. I mean, it's pretty easy to sift that out, I think, and I couldn't agree more with what Road Dirt was saying. You got to go with your gut.
Yep. I had a second part that I was going to go into with what Silent said, but you actually brought something that we were texting about earlier that I thought would be a good conversation piece. You used the 75% analogy, which made me think of it. And we were talking about when you get into, and I'm not specifics here, but we have people on staff that are in very large nations, thousands of members, 1,000, 2,000, whatever the case may be. And I think a misconception for guys looking at clubs, like we were talking about earlier, like, is this club a fit for me? I think they get this idea where if I don't agree with 100% everything this club is doing, or I don't love 100% of the membership all the time, different states, different chapters, whatever, that all of a sudden they're not a fit for the MC life, or that club isn't as great as they thought it was. That club may be outstanding. And I think trying to assign 100% value in anything to any one thing that's that fucking large is just setting yourself up for failure. You're going to beat yourself up for no reason. I would argue that in my experiences, if you hit 75%, I think you're having a good day. If you can stand, if you're in that large of a group, multi-chapters, multi-states, things like that, and you can enjoy 75% of the people you run into, you're a fucking all-star, bro. That's an A+.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
Dirt, you had something you want to say?
Yeah, about the I kind of, when we was talking about the bullshit detection and everything, and I want to piggyback off something Silent said for the listeners who are maybe trying to pick up some ideals. I can't emphasize enough, regardless, if a nation puts someone out in bad standing, whatever the reason is, if you as a club make the decision to pick them up, you're picking up a lot of baggage, and you might be buying into some shit you aren't ready to buy into. So that's just something to warn people to be very careful, regardless. Even if you're 100% think that guy got railroaded and you like him and you think he might be in the right, you are bringing a lot of baggage to you and your brothers if you as a chapter decide, or whoever decides to pick that dude up. That's just something you have to be aware of. I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, I agree, because regardless of how you feel, that club or that chapter feels that he's out and bad, so your opinion doesn't really mean dick, and like you said, you got to be willing to accept the baggage that comes along with that guy. So is that guy worth it? Is it worth going against how that other nation feels. My opinion, it's usually not. It's usually not.
So how do you take that, Silent? So like if somebody gets put out bad at your club and then they go to another club that's local, we'll say it's local, and that other club says, yeah, we'll fucking take you, you can fucking prospect, how do you take that?
I take it as fucking disrespectful. That's how I take it, especially when it's a true legit fucking reason and you fucking take them anyway, and then you call and then and you're told what the hell was going on and they still take them, and then they expect you to fucking be kosher with it, you know what I mean, or fucking look the other way when you are in the same vicinity. I mean, that shit ain't fucking cool. They're still out bad with me. I don't give a fuck if you take him or not. He's still out bad with me, and I got a fucking problem with it. That's how it rolls. Again, I'm speaking for me, not my club. All right, but that's how I feel. But no different than, road dirt. I'd leave my nation out and bad, and I go join Chosen Few, and I join Road Dirt's fucking chapter. How do you think my nation is going to feel when they fucking see me and him roll together, at a COC meeting or something? You know what I mean? It's disrespectful as fuck. First of all, Chosen Few should have never took me, because I'm out and bad, but how can you as a nation expect to be respected when you're doing disrespectful shit? That's all I got on that.
Fucking boom. Knowledge bomb.
All right, Ken, pivot us off of that.
All right, so I was at this midget strip club yesterday, right? And we.
What time did you get off? What time did you get off work? Did you have to dance all night?
That was good. That took a minute too, because I'm short and that went right over my head.
So let's jump back to what was your 75% question, Andar?
No, fuck y'all. Y'all ruined it.
No. What's your 75% question?
No, I said we were talking about it earlier when we were texting about ideas. Was that I think guys that aren't in clubs and are looking at clubs, I think they focus, like hyper focus on, I've got to be 100% into every aspect of this at all times. And I don't think that's true. And I think you're either going to beat yourself up unnecessarily, or you're going to set yourself up to be disappointed or failure because you have this idea. And again, I don't know, a one chapter local club, maybe the number should be higher. But when you're looking at a large nation, like you said, you know what, maybe you came from something smaller and you're ready to go big. I don't think that trying to find 100% stuff that you agree, I'm not going to say good because that's not the right thing. 100% stuff that gets you hard, that gets you happy, excited, motivated, whatever, I think it's fucking ridiculous. And you're going to be pissed off and you're going to be miserable, or you're going to quit, or you're not going to make it, or whatever. And I think that's ridiculous. I think in anything that's that large, military units, motorcycle clubs, whatever, trying to find 100% happiness at all times is or whatever the case, whatever the word is just setting yourself up for failure. I think if you like a percentage of the membership enough, then that should be good enough. Your local chapter and stuff like that, more so than the rest of whatever it is for you. I think that is more than acceptable. And I think trying to get 100% perfection out of something is just destined to fail.
So, and I'll just throw this out there because I'm sure Road Dirt wants to speak on it too. If that was the case, when you voted, everything would have to be unanimous. But it's not that way. You have majority vote or you have 2/3 vote. Some clubs have different, they word it differently. But if everybody felt the exact same way all the time, it would be unanimous votes or no vote because everybody feels the exact same way. You're never going to get 100% all the time. Never. It's impossible. You have a bunch of clubs, or chapters with alpha males in them. You're not going to agree on everything. different people have different opinions, different experiences, different knowledge. You know, that's how, even though you have a common set of bylaws, but there's 8 million things that aren't covered in those bylaws that run day-to-day operations. You know, I think those people that say this is not 100% me, I'm not 100% happy. Number one, either they have their expectations are too high, or it's truly not in their heart, and that's their way out. So, Road Dirt probably has something different, but.
No, I wouldn't say anything different, but I would say that along those lines, you know, for me, nothing's going to be perfect, right? Someone asked me the other day, how do you bring your imperfect self to this club and expect it to be perfect? You know, we was having a conversation, which is a good saying. But you know, I look at it like this, because having felt that I grew apart from a previous club who I'm really close with brothers, and still, you know, there was just some things that just didn't set well with me, and I had to make that decision. But now so that being said, for instance, a good example is say you don't like Indian motorcycles, or let's say you love everything about the club, but they allow metric bikes. If that's the only thing you don't like about the club is 2 guys out of 100 have a shadow, is that going to stop you from joining that club?
Maybe.
You have you have to weigh it out, though, and say, okay, is that going to, some guy might be like, fuck yes, absolutely, I will never join a club that has a fucking metric in it. And because that would keep him up at night, and that would upset him, and it wouldn't rest well with his soul. And then I'd say, well, then don't join that club. But find the things that you don't like, and is it so bad that if it's going to keep you up at night, then you probably shouldn't join that club if it doesn't set with your moral fiber or whatever it is. But if it's something minor, you know, like, well, I don't like Indians and 2 guys have Indians, well then, but I can live with that, you know. So 100% is an unrealistic expectation. And I would say, but it could be 98%. If that 2% is enough, that don't go into a club expecting them to change. You know, don't go join a club that allows metrics and then try and beat the bushes that try and drum up support to change that bylaw. You just join a club that allows fucking metrics, and now you don't want to be there. So, you know, I would say just weigh out the things that you do and don't like, and how serious is it? Because you're not going to find 100%. You're absolutely right. That's
right.
Yeah, and I think you do a really great. I think Road Dirt did a really great point of kind of showing the difference there between your preference and your values, your ethics, whatever. And if there's something that is completely not in line with your ethics, that's one thing. Maybe that's a different conversation to have. If it's a preference thing, but you love everything else that you're experiencing, like Road Dirt said, then how serious is it? Then maybe that's on you, and you just need to kind of get over that, because this can be a really great home. But if it's a thing that's completely, like Road Dirt said, a violation of your kind of moral fiber, then that's not the club for you. I heard a guy once tell me, and one of the things I really like about this page is that it's allowed us to earn respect from other clubs, other large clubs, and other people that will not talk shit or give up dirt, but they'll give you maybe that, what I call the other side of the coin. And they'll allow you to kind of get their input on stuff that maybe they wouldn't generally say in just a public setting. And one thing I heard was, you know, I may not like every single one of my brothers. He may not be that may not be somebody that I actually consider a brother, but I respect and love what he had to do to earn this patch, and I love this club, and he's an asset to this club in his own way. And I think that's a really great point that person brought up, is that you might not get along with every single person, but you have that love and respect for what they've earned, what they've accomplished.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, I've spoke on it in previous podcasts. Remember, it's the whole pixels in the picture. You know, you're not all the same. You may not like each other. You know, but you're a pixel in the picture. You know, without the pixels in the right places, the picture is blurry. You know, so you know, it takes all different personalities that maybe don't like each other, but it still takes them to form the chapter or form the club in the cohesive way that it needs to be formed.
And I love what Road Dirt said. Like, if you go in there trying to change it, that's on you. Like, that's more your fault than it is on the club. Like, you can't go in there expecting to change something minor like that, like a preference issue like that. Like, you knew that when you joined.
Yep, he's 100% correct too.
Don't just shake your head, Ken. Say something.
Something.
Well, Road Dirt's from the South, so he's right. You know that, right? That's how the fuck shit works down here.
Nah, man, you got the left coast and the wrong coast.
It's Florida.
The wrong coast. No, I don't think I have anything of value to add to that. I think
I'd agree with that.
Fuck you, piece of shit. God, Florida, you can grow hair. You fucking have a different attitude, man. I'll tell you that. But
I was just agreeing with you don't have anything of value to add. I mean, goddamn, that's not me. That's
I'm trying to agree with you. I tell you, quit dang old fucking shit. But
my favorite part. Not to get off, my favorite part of coming to Florida was that I went to visit Ken, and right as soon as I crossed the the line between Georgia and Florida, I stopped at a gas station to get gas, and there was this big old boy, tank top, shorts, no shoes, in the dirtiest gas station I've ever been in. I was like, oh man, I'm in Florida.
You was up there in Fernandina area, or not Fernandina, but Callahan Yulee area.
Yeah.
I think he was trying to use his EBT card to buy lottery tickets, to buy scratch offs.
Maybe so.
Yeah, big old boy.
Yeah, shoes are optional down here.
Maybe not in that gas station
where they shouldn't be, like in public bathrooms and shit. Like, come on, man, that's not water you're standing in, fella. Like, you should probably separate yourself from that.
Hey, I did offer to come down next year and help Ken work a booth for Daytona and sell some of his gear.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, we're gonna try to work that out. We're gonna try to do that with Mercenary, right? Mercenary or Right as Shit, one of those two.
Well, you got
whoever's willing to take me.
You got Biketoberfest coming up in October in Daytona.
I do not. I will be gone in October.
I just don't want this October, the one coming up.
Yeah, I'm going TAD. I'm not like PCSing.
Also, either way, I don't want you to try and blame Road Dirt this time on why you can't make it all the way down to Daytona. Don't blame Mac. Don't blame Road Dirt. Just fucking do it. Just get there.
Ha! Joke's on you. I've already got a list of excuses ready, and neither one of them are on there. It's fine.
Why don't you send your wife down there to Daytona to sell stuff? Because she's a lot better looking than you are.
She's way better looking than I am, and her tits are way better. Mine are okay.
Yeah, yours are kind of saggy.
Yeah, a little hairy. Yeah. I'll see if she wants to come down, fucking hang out with me and Dave. Make asses of ourselves.
Is that going to be during Silent's home inspection of you?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably. I'll just give him the fucking garage door opener. Well, he's got to go through Daytona anyway, so I'll just he'll stop by. I'll fucking just give him my garage door opener. He'll go up. Be all right.
Okay.
Hey, just feed the dogs when you get up here.
Yeah, I'll take care of all that. Don't worry about it.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, I'm on it, buddy.
Checks in the mail, right?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
How long? So I don't really have anything else. We've been doing this for a little over an hour. Silent gave us all the great sound bites that we need. We established that Professor Blade is probably the greatest recruiter or the greatest mentor, or one of them anyway, in this community, because he's pretty much affected half the staff. Ken, Road Dirt. He hooked myself up with William Delaney, who, if you don't know who that is, I'll do a post on it later. But anyway, he wrote a thesis for his doctorate degree from Florida State on motorcycle clubs, and I absolutely love it. And so we have that too. So Ken's got to stop being lazy and get Professor back on the show.
Well, never mind. That's not for public consumption. So okay, that's what I'll leave with. Okay.
Well, you do have one. You do have one coming up, where you're probably gonna get him on. Hey.
Yeah. Yes. Again, hold my comment. Yeah, we're trying to get the motorcycle profiling project crew on here, And obviously, Professor Blade's got to be a part of that because he is one of the loudest voices for bikers' rights.
And
So-
I mean, I just listen. Like, I don't even want to be on that show because I don't have anything to add. I feel like he is so good on that. Like, and if you get him, and I don't know who else you're planning on bringing on, but any of the ones that are involved, kind of. I guess I don't want is the face of it the right word. But like when you have him and Spike and Double D and stuff like that, is kind of the guys that are more known in the movement or in fighting motorcycle profiling. I love when you get Professor going and kind of bouncing off those guys. I feel like the conversation is just awesome.
Absolutely, man. Especially with when you get like Spike and Blade going back and forth, their accents start getting thicker and thicker. So it goes from talking about bikers' rights to tea and crumpets, and it's great. It's fucking great.
Do you have a soundbite to leave us with? Like last time, it was like that time that my grandma caught me, or she didn't catch me. I accidentally sent a video of myself jerking off to my grandma. I feel like we need something like that to end.
So can we clarify that too, right? So I've had a couple of questions on that.
I don't.
They said, so did you
question?
send a picture? Did you send a video of you jacking off to your grandmother?
Yes.
Or did you send a video of yourself jacking off to your grandma?
No, so I actually sent it to a lot of people. And I was TAD like that. I was where was I? I was at a training camp somewhere. An FTX, a field exercise, but I had my phone and I was in a tent and I was trying to have some time with my wife, my now ex-wife. I don't know if we're divorced because I jerked off and sent it to my grandma, but that could be that could be a catalyst. But anyway, so we're flirting, we're sexting, we're texting stuff back and forth, and I took a video, and for some reason I was also doing other stuff at the same time, and I replied to the wrong thing, and so went out to like 14 different people, and like I remember my uncle on my mom's side says, yeah, that definitely came from your dad's side. Where's the rest of it? And I was like, oh my God, there's only one way to take that. I turned my phone off. I turned it off and I like threw it in the corner of the tent. And I don't think I looked at it for like, I don't even think I went and touched it for like 3 days before I turned it back on. I was like, if I ignore it, it'll go away.
Yeah.
Hoping you just
Yeah,
leave it off long enough to where none of the incoming messages actually show up.
Yeah. I got a burner phone and I'm like trying to text people like I'm a Nigerian scammer. I was like, ha, I got you guys. And I never watched, and so I never watched the video. So I always wondered, like, is my face in there? Like, oh yeah. And I was like,
Hey, so I'm still working on Rocco. I need to try to make some contact. You know, Rocco from the Mayans Ranger Battalion guy. You know,
Yeah.
fun guy. So if y'all are still interested in having him on the show, I'm gonna try to make some contact with him, see if we can't get an interview.
Does he listen to the show?
I don't know if he does or not, but we can see if he does.
I doubt he does.
In case he does, we love Black Rifle Coffee, Article 15, Range 15. The Mines is the best show I've ever seen. So great. Anything. I think he had a show on the History Channel, like repairing old weapons and stuff. That show was fucking phenomenal. He's way better looking than and less douchey than Tim Kennedy. Unless he likes Tim Kennedy, then Tim's fine.
Did you get the balls in there too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
no, that'd be fucking cool to get him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We need some sponsorship too, man. Like Harley, Kuryakin, D&D. You know, we need some shit like that to sponsor.
I don't want to put any pressure on you. But you do work for a space agency, and there's only 2 to choose from. There's Space Force and there's NASA. You could probably get us some sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me work on that.
Yeah, man. We would have to end this fucking show or start it with, this podcast is out of this world, man.
You know, right? We're gonna get. I hope the only comments on this show are, did you know Silent works for Space Force?
I don't work for Space Force. That's some Air Force shit.
God, that was a fucking joke. Oh,
All
man.
right. You got anything else for us, Ken?
No. I had something. I was gonna be a smartass about something, but I forgot. Like, you went off on your tangent, and I was like, I'm gonna make dick sucking noises on the show, and that's kind of where my brain stopped because I'm a child. That's,
Did anybody screen catch that while he was doing the visual for that? Did anybody capture that?
fuck no.
No,
Yeah.
it happens all the time. You'll get a chance to see it again.
Hey, only when we're talking about Dave jerking off to his grandma and Michael sucking dick. That's
Hey,
the only time.
let's see what soundbite you can catch for advertising the show though from the beginning with the dog. I'm interested
I
to see
think-
that one.
Bro, between the second show we tried to record today and all of this podcast, I have like 6 podcasts worth of shit. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge. But hey, we appreciate everybody's time. Bro Dirt, it was good to finally get you on here, man. We got some fun stuff planned for you in the future. Trust me on that. So don't worry about it. It's gonna be great. I promise. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Thanks for having me. I'll see y'all later.
All righty.
Well, hey, thank you guys so much for the love and support. We appreciate it. Please check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. We're available fucking everywhere you can get your podcast. So give us a like, share, follow, and we'll catch you guys next week with some more shit.